I'm going to read you a brief thing that I think has sort of brings us together here, and it says, I'm calling this public hearing to order at 7 p.m. The commission will review wetlands filings under the Mass Wetland Protection Act and the Concord Wetlands Bylaw. Discussion at tonight's meeting will be limited to regulatory matters only. In accordance with the Massachusetts Executive Order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, we are conducting this meeting online. To ensure public access to the deliberation of the meeting, the public may access this call through telephone or video conferencing. Members of the public will have an opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment on the applications and discussions following the petitioner's presentation and questions of the commission. To do so, please raise your hand, and I'll explain that in a second, or participate in the participant function of Zoom meeting platform. And if you're calling in and cannot use the platform, you may raise your hand by dialing *9. And the way you do it, if you're using the video Zoom, is you take your cursor or whatever, go to the bottom of the screen, and there should be a group of items there. The one you want to press on is participants, and when you press on participants, this is for public comment, slide over to the right, way at the bottom of the screen, and you will see it says raise hand. And in your square, a little hand will raise, and we will know that you're asking a question. All right? If that's not clear, let me know. Well, you can't let me know because you wouldn't have to do it. The first order of business delegates signing authority of the commission. And what we realize is we all can't get together to sign documents and do all that. So what we are allowed to do is we're allowed to vote by roll call, and Delia will be our signing agent because a lot of the things we do must be recorded, and they must be recorded with an ink signature. You can't electronically sign. So what I need from one of the commissioners, and I'm glad Lynn has volunteered, is I need you to move this motion to authorize the Natural Resources Director, Delia Kay, to physically sign the Concord Natural Resource Commission documents on behalf of individual Concord Natural Resource Commission member.
Lynn Huggins so moves.
And could you second that for me, Nick?
That's Mr. I can second. Judy's on record seconds.
Okay, Judy second. All right. Any discussion on that? No, thank you for no discussion. So we need a roll call vote. Nick, how do you vote?
I vote yay.
Lynn?
I vote A.
Ed?
Aye.
Judy?
Yay.
And I vote yay. So it's unanimous. Thank you, guys. I will sign this document, which has that vote on it, tomorrow at the office and risk my life. Okay. As you notice, all mics are muted except the commission, Delia's, and the petitioner. Delia will run the cursor on the presentation items, which will jump up on the screen. If the petitioner feels they need to, we can give them permission, but we prefer for our first run through not to go that route. So Delia will follow along as the petitioner talks through the issue, should that be necessary. I've also been asked to make sure that everyone understands that there's a tremendous amount of information about this virus on the website. And if you wish to, please go there and read to your heart's content. Commissioners, if you want to say something, I think we can do it by just go ahead and opening your mic and saying something. But if it gets confusing, we'll just wave at each other when you need to be recognized so we don't have confusion. And I just want to point out, we do have some help. Chris is helping us from Town Hall in case we run into a snag. That being said, first order of business is to approve minutes, January 8th. Does anybody have anything about the January 8th minutes that they wish to? Lynn?
Just two things. Page 4, that first full paragraph.
Yeah.
It should say Huggins and not Higgins. I was chairing that because you had recused yourself.
Yeah, thank you.
And then the third sentence should say as, not at.
Anything else? Thank you.
That's it.
This is Nick. Greg?
You sent yours in, right, Nick?
Yeah, I did. Just wanted to record that.
Thank you. Ed, Judy? Do I have a motion? Judy, your mic is muted. You said something.
Yeah, I said no, I had no additional changes. I make a motion to accept the minutes, January 8th, 2020 as amended.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Nick.
From-
All those in favor? Nick?
Aye.
I think we have to do it individually. Lynn?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
And I for an aye. I say aye as well. So that's good. All right, let's go to this January 22. You have anything, Ed?
No comment.
Anyone have a comment on that? Do I have a motion?
I submitted one comment, minor.
Thank you, Nick. I know you did.
I move that we approve the January 22nd, 2020 minutes as amended.
Second.
Second.
Ed, thank you. All those in favor? Ed?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Judy?
Recused, I wasn't there.
I'm having a hard time hearing Judy.
Okay, I excused myself since I was not present at the January 22nd meeting. Did you hear me?
Did you get that, Ed?
She
Yeah.
recused herself.
She was not there.
I did. For some reason, you're wobbly to me. I think your speed is slow and it's jumbling your words.
Okay,
All those in favor?
No.
We have a motion.
Move to accept minutes as amended.
Second. Lynn, second.
Aye.
All those in favor? Nick,
Aye.
Lynn,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Judy, you recuse, and I say aye, so it's 4-0. All right, thank you, guys. We need a motion. Could somebody maybe, Lynn, do you have it in front of you, all the continuances?
Yep.
Would you mind doing those?
Nope, I move that we continue to the April 15th meeting, DEP file number 1371504, DEP file number 1371509, DEP file number 1371510, and DEP file number 1371517.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you,
Second.
Nick. All those in favor? Nick,
Aye.
Lynn,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Judy?
aye.
And I vote as well. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We need to continue to May 6th. Would you do that again for me, Lynn? Did you lose me?
Sure. So I move that we open and continue to the May 6th meeting, 150 Jenny Dugan Road, RDA 20-3.
I got 20-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delia?
Yes.
It's 20-3 on the first send out, but on the updated minutes, it's 20-2. Your mic is muted. Delia, your mic is muted. There
Sorry,
you go.
20-2.
Okay, so it was read correctly.
Art, I amend that to read RDA 20-2.
Thank you. I got a second, Ed?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, Nick,
Aye.
Lynn,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Judy? And I'm in favor as well, so that's unanimous. Thank you, guys. All right, moving right along. Notice of intent, DEP file number 137150295 Coolidge Road. It's up on the screen. Do we have somebody here? Do we have a petitioner's representative here?
Yes, Brian Butler should be on the call. Let me go back. Make sure I can, hang on one sec. I'm going to just turn his mic on.
You know how dangerous that can be.
Brian, can you hear us? Because you are unmuted, but I don't hear you.
Brian?
Let me see.
He looks unmuted. Maybe his mic is, Brian, do you have your mic on?
So I see that Mr. McGinn is here as well. I'm going to unmute. So from Chris Carmody, Brian, you need to call in again. We're not picking up your phone or your computer.
Wasn't Paul here? Paul's here.
Yes.
I'm here. Yes.
And I'm going to just send a request to you to start video. So if you can accept that, you will be able to be, there you are.
Very good.
So let me go back to share screen here. Are you comfortable giving us a run through on this, or do you want me to just recap that Brian and I visited the property on February 12th to determine the mow line, which is shown here in this yellow line. And Brian has proposed these pheno markers do not mow beyond this point to be located at the edge of the line of mowing. So this area here will no longer be mowed. Upgrade into that line is acceptable for mowing.
And the one thing we just wanted to ask that there's a pile of slash in the, I think it's within the 25, or it's between the 25 and the 50, and we would prefer that be burned outside the 50.
That has already been done.
Super. I mean, it seems like we're pretty well together on this. Do any of the commissioners have comments?
No?
No.
No.
Paul, do you have anything you wanted to add? I mean, you're not.
No, I think we're in good shape.
I do as well.
Yeah.
Well.
No,
Um,
appreciate the process.
Well, sometimes it's cumbersome, but we get there, don't we? So I guess we'll look for a motion to close the hearing, and right, Delia? I mean,
Lynn has a question.
Lynn,
Actually, I'm raising my hand to make a motion.
that's what I thought. I was hoping. All right, please go for it.
So I would move that we close an issue, an order of conditions for TEP file number 13502 with findings A, B, C, and D, standard conditions 1 through 19, and special conditions 20 through 48.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, before we vote on this, I did not ask for public comment. Is there any public comment on this? Sorry about that, folks. I don't see any ask for public comment. All right, we have a motion. We have it seconded. All those in favor, and I'll do a roll call. Nick?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
And I am a yes as well. Thank you guys very much. We will produce some paperwork that we will get to you as soon as we can.
Thank you very
coming
much.
tonight, and wish you well.
Same to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You can stay on and listen, but if you don't want to, please, you can remove yourself. It is past 7:10, so we're moving right along. 296 Bedford Street, DEP file number 1371516. Who is stepping forward on that?
Can I just, I have just a question. I just wanted to confirm that Lexington, because of the issue with the Historic Districts Commission not meeting, that has been continued until our next meeting in April. I just wanted to confirm that.
So HDC is opening and continuing all meetings tomorrow night. They're opening and continuing to the April 16th agenda.
What we just, is Peter, do I see Peter? Is he here?
Yep, he's here somewhere. I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
One thing we wanted to make sure you understand is if we should discuss this, which I assume we will this evening, and come to an sort of agreement to your plan, I just want to caution you that we are able tonight to vote on it and approve it. But the downside of doing that this evening is, should HDC ask for changes in the plan that would affect what we did here, you would be put in a position of having to refile and renotice. Now, given the fact, it just seems to me, and please, I'm not your advisor, but it seems to me that we could go forward this evening and give you a thumbs up that we're going to go that direction. You can't do anything until HDC approves anyways.
Right.
But once HDC did, then we would just, you wouldn't even have to show up at the meeting or anything. We would just go forward and
Yeah.
Does
Sure.
that make sense to you, Peter?
It does a little bit. My only concern about that is HDC's meeting is always one day after yours, which then amounts to like a 2-week delay. Do you know what I mean? So if their next meeting is on the 16th and yours is on the 15th, I'd have to waiting till your first meeting in May. And which may or may not be a problem. What I am worried about is losing our spot in the construction queue for this, because we were scheduled to be kicked off, but things are slowly split for them. So I'm not sure if that'll ever really be an issue or not, but I am a little worried about that. So I think, based on, when we do the presentation tonight, I'll kind of show my reasons why I think I'm comfortable with that risk, mostly because the HD purview is going to be, views from the public way. And what we're going to be talking about here is really the one piece of the project, which is in the back corner of the project, which I think is hopefully pretty safe from HDC's purview. I do have one thing to ask based on some research I did about other pools in the historical district, and I will kind of float that by you tonight. That would be part of the conditions. It doesn't require a waiver or anything. It's just like a little bit of flexibility on the fencing material and the color of the fence and all that. In that the fence that I submitted to you guys we may change that to be more historic in nature. But if you put in the conditions something like, hey, minimum height is this, minimum spacing is this, which I think is really what you guys care most about, when we're talking about the wetlands and permissibility of wildlife, through the fence area. I think hopefully that would be acceptable to you guys. And then that will give me a little bit of flexibility to work with HDC to say, hey, yeah, you want a white wooden fence, we can do it. Here are some options. Let's look at those.
Well, I think we're in the middle of it now, so why don't you just give us your changes, maybe Delia, throw the plan up and we'll go.
Can I,
I just wanted to know your position, Peter. Should something happen with HDC and you have to move, then.
Yeah, we'd have to refile, exactly.
Yeah, that's all. I just wanted you to be darn sure.
Yeah, thank you, yep.
All right.
Okay, so if we can, would it be, Delia, I have it up on my screen too, would it be better if I share it? Because then I can kind of move it around and discuss.
It's probably easier if I can do it from here unless there's a problem for doing that.
Yep, no problem. What I wanted to call attention to is if you look at the thick dashed line, that's a siltation barrier, or siltation, did I get that right? Silt barrier?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so that is really the boundary of all work being done. If you go in a level, the thin line with the little pegs is the fence, right?
Correct.
And then if you go in one more, the dotted line is a 50-foot buffer zone. So if you look at the pool, all hardscape, all pool, all equipment, everything is outside the 50-foot buffer zone, so it is by right. And I think, Greg, that's what you told me. Hey, why didn't you lead with that next time? So I'm making sure I'm leading with it this time. So what we're really talking about here is we're asking for permission, and we're trying to do this the right way with going through the whole process, just for that small corner of about 20 linear feet of fence that'll extend out into the 50-foot buffer zone. in doing this, that'll allow us clear passage all the way around the pool to maintain the property within the fenced area. And it will make it so that everything's not crammed in there. In doing that, we also had in the original plan on the top left corner, closer to the house, Delia, we originally had that extending out to the house through the 50-foot buffer zone. But after talking to you guys last time, this was the one change we made to the plan.
Correct.
We didn't need to do that, right? That was just initial design. What we did is we turned the corner there to the equipment, and then from the equipment shed we went into the fence. So we went into the house directly from there. So we managed to remove that whole portion from the 50-foot buffer zone. So really what we've gotten down to now is just that small corner of about 20 linear feet, about 40 square feet of fence that we're asking to be able to extend past the buffer zone line. And we still kept everything else about the plan the same. In doing this, we're offering
just to clarify so everyone in the public understands, you also, when you say kept it the same, you're also doing a planting area, remediation area down, there you are, down the bottom there. So I think that's what gave us the leeway last meeting to give you some hope that we go forward. I don't really have any questions about this. Do any of the other commissioners have any further thoughts?
Your phone went down and it's not raining.
No.
Yeah. Ed, Lynn, nobody had,
The question I have is, nobody care about the fence, oops.
do we care about the fence, the
Yeah.
design of the fence?
Yeah, Steve brought that up earlier, but
Yep.
I just want to throw that out.
Yeah, we had submitted from our pool company a default kind of black aluminum fence. Even though HDC hasn't ruled that they don't like that, we have a lot of time to walk around town lately. So I've done some research of the other pools in our historic districts here. Every single one of them seems to have a more wooden fence. You know what I mean? That looks a little more colonial and a little more fitting to the house. So even though HDC hasn't ruled that they won't accept the black aluminum fence, I'm kind of going in there looking at the other places and the other sites that have pools in our historic district and seeing a lot more wooden, kind of more fitting fences to the style of house that we have. So I wanted to have a little bit of flexibility to say, if in the order of conditions, since we did actually submit to you guys like exact fence specifications, instead of doing that exact fence, if we could kind of put the minimum passing underneath and the minimum spacing in there, as opposed to the actual fence material, then that would give me a little more leeway to work with historical districts to come up with what is a better
Well,
fence.
is that on the plan? That's in the.
It's not. That was supplemental material that we provided.
Right, it's not on the plan, so we don't have to get that change done on the plan.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Which I think is paramount, because if we did, then you'd have to get a plan in by Friday.
Right.
Does anybody have a problem with allowing some flexibility to that fence? It seems to make common sense to me that I don't think it affects what we're doing here. Assume you're not making it isn't going to be a brick, 3-foot thick wall. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? So seeing none, I assume that would fly, Peter.
Great, thank you.
That would work. I don't have any more comments. If no commissioner does anyone out there in the public want to be recognized in this regard? I don't see anybody raising their hand. Marcia.
No comment.
Okay, you turn your mic on, okay. All right, seeing none, then do we have a motion here? We do have somebody's on the phone. Who's that?
It actually looks like all your microphones turned on all at once here, from what I'm seeing on my screen.
I unmuted everybody.
So I hear nobody, Delia, so maybe remute them and we'll get on with voting with a motion here, I think.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think I'm going to have to mute everybody and then unmute you individually. So give me 1 second, please.
Okie dokie.
So,
I think my mic is still hot.
Yep. Okay, you're all unmuted.
All right, do I have a motion?
So let me clarify, please, Greg,
Please.
then so I have a motion, but we're modifying that. Are we issuing an order of conditions?
So I would suggest, and Peter, you can weigh in on this, but I would suggest that the applicant is maybe going to want to continue the meeting to the April 15th hearing. And then that permit can be contingent upon HDC approval, which will occur the following night. So we typically issue the permits on a Friday. So if HDC says that we need to see changes, then we would leave that hearing open and have that flexibility to do that.
Right, but I wouldn't know until the 16th anyway, right?
Right.
That's why I was thinking.
That's the point, Peter.
Yeah, I was willing to take the risk to kind of move this along tonight, and given the flexibility of the fence, you know, and that, then I'm hoping that HDC will, because we wouldn't need to do screening on that back corner there, so I don't think anything here would affect that one portion that we're talking about. So
It's up to you.
yeah, I'd rather move ahead, honestly, to get
right.
one thing off my plate. Thanks.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that
Thank you, Lynn.
that you're well aware that if we issue an order of conditions tonight, if something changes, you're back at square one.
I'm back at square one. Yep. I want to take that risk because I think just to try to have a chance of moving forward this spring.
Okay, I think that's fairly in the record then. Okay, then in that case, I would make a motion that we issue an order of conditions for EP file number 1371515 with findings A, standard conditions 1 through 19, and special conditions 20 through 53.
Do I see a second on that?
Second.
Nick seconded, thank you. Okay, we'll vote.
Okay, good.
We'll vote. Nick,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Judy,
Aye.
Lynn,
Aye.
and yes, it's unanimous. Good luck, Peter. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Greg. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving right along, 296 Bedford Street, DEP file number 1371516. I see Kyle. Are you the petitioner in this? Are you
Yes, I am.
representing You are, yes?
Yep. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, yeah, my name's Kyle. I'll be representing the applicant, Joe Gwynn. Last time we met, it was Scott from my office, and the previous plan, we were planning on doing a 472 square foot garage within the 50-foot buffer zone, along with the 1,500 square foot restoration area with other plantings. Now, the commission requested that we would explore an alternative area, which was to the west of this plan along the driveway. And you can see the new proposed location. And we also picked up the topography better in that area, as well as trees. Now the new proposed shed is smaller. It's 150 square feet. And we are proposing to cut down one 5-inch oak tree. Now, to mitigate that, we are proposing 560 square feet of restoration area within the 50-foot buffer zone, along with a wildflower seed mix and plantings. If there's any hard packed soil in that area, we will either till or take out the topsoil and replace, depending on how bad it is. We've also added the easement, which is another request on the plan, right next to the proposed shed. Yeah, if there's any questions, I think this is a big improvement over the last plan.
Yeah, I think as far as we're concerned, I agree with
Yeah.
you, Kyle.
Yeah.
I just, there is a fence a piece of fence, I just want to reiterate, that's inside the 50, that will be removed, correct?
Yes, that's still the plan.
Yeah, and just for the record, we didn't recommend that you put your shed in that spot. That's just one spot that was discussed at the last meeting. I don't want people to misinterpret that we recommend where people put things.
Yes, yes.
But we encouraged you to look elsewhere instead of being inside the 50. I know I'm nitpicking on that, but I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
Does any other I don't have any further questions. Any commissioners have any questions?
No.
The public, is anybody out there in the public that would like to participate and throw a question on? Be welcome at this point. I don't see any. Does anybody see any? Seeing none, are we ready for a motion here?
Can I just get a point of clarification from Chris?
Sure.
Do I need to unmute everybody in the public?
Yeah, I would recommend that you unmute them during the public comment period.
Okay, everybody has been unmuted. If you have a comment, please let us know.
You know, if you're on the phone, you can do *9 as well. But you should be unmuted anyway. All right, I don't see any. Thanks, Chris, for that, by the way.
Thanks.
All right, then we should
I don't think we
close
have
an
it.
issue.
I don't think we have an order ready.
We don't have it ready, do we?
No.
I didn't see one.
No.
So, Kyle, I guess what you could take away from this is that I think we're ready to go, and I don't see any need for you to or anyone else to come back to the next meeting. But I think the paperwork will be put together for the 15th, and you can tell your client that unless something more happens than the virus, we should be able to do that.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for your time this evening, Kyle.
Thanks.
All righty. We are new application.
Water.
5373 Cambridge Turnpike, RDA file number 20-3. Who is representing the petitioner?
Okay,
as the
speak fine,
petitioner?
Dad. I think, there you are.
Can you hear me?
Mr. Beeland,
Yes, can you hear me?
you're very faint.
Yeah, I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me better now?
Mhm.
A tad bit better. I think it'll work.
Okay, I'll speak up.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. I'm representing the Concord Museum. I am the facility manager there. Recently started back in November. The Concord Museum owns a single-family dwelling. If you want to, there we go. And the bottom right of the drawing. So the Concord Museum owns a single-family dwelling located in the southeast corner of the property. The service address is 73 Cambridge Turnpike. The house consistently experiences groundwater infiltration in several locations of the basement. The intent of the project is simply to install a complete waterproofing system in the basement, which is going to include a perimeter subfloor drainage system equipped with 2 sump pumps. Pump system will be alarmed and will also have a battery backup system. The area of impact, or what's really impacting the Resource Commission here, is the discharge piping is going to exit the house. On the left-hand side, you'll see a red line, underneath the word dry well. Thank you.
Yeah.
It'll come out the foundation 90 degree down into the ground. Trench will be dug approximately 8 to 10 feet away from the house, and it'll land somewhere between the house and, if you'll see if you would go a little more to the left, essentially right next to the large D letter of dry well, That line there, if we were to follow that up through this drawing, you'll see that that is the 100, that's the perimeter of the 100-foot buffer zone.
Right.
The impact will essentially be the trench dug into the ground. It's all grass there now for a 4-inch PVC pipe, which will terminate at a small dry well, what's called a bubble pot, for the discharge of the water from the basement.
And the idea is that what you call bubble, that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, it was the first time I heard of it too, so.
Yeah, that bubble indentation, that has been, somebody has spec'd the amount of water, and that should take care of it and perk. Is that the idea?
Yes. I inherited this project and the proposal. I have talked to the contractor,
Yeah.
but they've been to the house a couple of times now, and with their proposal. So it's 4-inch PVC, entered a 4-inch PVC dry well, which is essentially, from what I can tell, is a T fitting with the drain cover on top of it.
All right. I mean, it's certainly better than going the other direction, eh? Any commissioners have any other thoughts or questions? It doesn't seem like a major deal here. Len?
No.
Seems
Nick,
fairly minor.
Ed? Huh? I don't see any further questions, but just hold on, Norm. Public, any public comment? Let Delia unmute.
Everybody's unmuted.
Do I hear anything? I hear nothing. Forever hold your peace. All right, well, hearing that, it sounds like we're pretty much on board with this in RDA.
Great.
I think if somebody wanted to make a motion, I'd appreciate it. Lynn?
Yeah, I move that we issue a negative determination of applicability number 3 with condition 1, that the disturbed areas shall be loamed and seeded following construction. 2, that after the project's been completed, the applicant shall submit a letter to the NRC stating that all work has been conducted in accordance with all conditions of this determination of applicability, and that any changes from the RDA shall be described.
Do I see a second?
Second.
Nick, thank you. All those in favor, Nick?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Judy? Len?
Aye.
And I say yes as well, so it's unanimous. Thank you very much, Norm. Go forward and drain the cellar.
Thank you all. Stay safe.
Thank you very much. Do the same. I appreciate that. Well, that's the big business. Now we go to minor modifications. Voice of America, Concord Assisted Living, 68 Com Ave, DEP file 1371452. Who's representing that?
That would be myself, Janice Walden with Meridian Associates, and I believe that there's 2 people, Alan Cathcart and Charles Gagnon, that are on call. I don't think they have the video going.
That's fine. We don't want to see Alan anyway.
Trying to unmute you, Alan, but let's see.
So what I understand is you want to have a little pad out the back there, just a little addition onto your project. If you could just briefly give us what it is. I think Delia, do you have something to throw up on the screen?
So, Alan, if you are interested in participating, I think that you need to call back in again. Sorry, I didn't catch who the second person was.
Charles Gagnon. Gagnon.
Okay.
He said he's on the call. He's one of the phone numbers I can give you if you need it.
Okay, let me just get you, let's see.
You could blow that up. Maybe we could just, this is not a complex issue here.
No.
Yeah, I can also just,
Yeah, if you feel confident to just go, let's just get it done.
So essentially, there's 2 main parts to this amendment. There's an addition of the concrete HVAC and just associated equipment pad that's going to be in the west of the previously approved building addition, which is currently under construction. You can see it, I'm like pointing at my screen, but you guys obviously can't see that. So concrete HVAC pad that's going to infringe on the outer riverfront area with approximately 360 square feet of new impervious associated with the HVAC pad, and then we allocated an additional 20 square feet of impervious disturbance associated with the fence. So it's going to be surrounded by a 6-foot-high vinyl privacy fence. That is the big guy. And then the other thing that we're doing is, if you pan up in the east, we're doing some modifications to the previously approved parking. So what we found is, during construction, we found that we were encroaching pretty closely on there's a 30-inch tree right there, yeah. And we didn't want to go any closer to it on the right side there. We didn't want to encroach on the root system anymore. So what we're proposing to do is relocate one of those parking spaces, the one on the right, over to where there's an existing pad for cooling equipment, and then add an additional parking space because we can fit it over there. And then in addition, we're going to narrow the drive aisle in the location of the tree from 24 feet to 20 feet, which will again give the tree more space and stress it out significantly less. So that area will result in like 125 square feet reduction in impervious. However, there is an increase in impervious associated with the pads in the west. So there will be a net increase.
And is this any floodplain issues here?
No, so the floodplain is at, I believe it's elevation like 126.3 or something like that. All of this is outside of the.
I just wanted to ask the question. Yep. It's a minor mod. Anybody have any other thoughts on the commission?
No.
No. No.
All right, if we unmic, let's hear if the public has anything to say.
I'm not sure if people can hear me. This is Charles Gagnon. I'm the new president and CEO of Volunteers America, Massachusetts. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Sorry, I'm not Alan either. He's our development consultant. But anyways, I started the position in September. I've been working with Tom Bierbaum, the longtime CEO, and I just wanted to express my gratitude for the town of Concord. The town and your various departments have been treating us very well. From community development, planning, building, board of health, fire. It's a complicated project. It's a very important project for certainly our organization, the people we serve, and I appreciate any consideration of the minor modification. Of course, this is my 6-month anniversary, and this is quite a challenge I'm facing as a new CEO, but I'm telling the folks at Senior Living Resident Concord Park, they're doing everything in their power to keep everyone safe, and the town has been just a great partner. So I really look forward to finishing both the upgrades and the expansion, and we're doing everything in our power to keep everyone safe. And we haven't had any positive notices whatsoever. So I'm very pleased to date, and I look forward to meeting you folks in person.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. No, we try to help where we can. And you guys are a good neighbor and a good citizen.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, so I guess we should, I could use a motion to approve this minor modification. Ed, you want to shoot a motion out here?
Sure. Let me see. I guess, is there any?
I got it, Ed.
There's no write-up.
No write-up?
Lynn, go ahead. Lynn,
Okay.
shoot it
Got
up.
it if you want. So I would make a motion that we approve a minor modification for DEP file number 1371452 for the concrete pad installation and removal of one tree in the riverfront area, conditioned upon the receipt of approval from EPA, successful transplanting or replacement of the 3 screening trees and replacement of the crackstone boundary at the CR excuse me, the correct term bound at the CR boundary.
I need a second. Ed?
Second.
Okay, Ed seconded, I think. All those in favor? Nick?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
And I say yes as well. Thank you. That's approved. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Janice, and thank you, NRC. Take
Yeah.
You're
care.
welcome.
Good luck
You're
with
welcome.
the facility.
I'm muted at the moment, but they're unmuted.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Did I hear someone else in there? I guess not. Thought I heard a different voice. All right, moving along. We need to extension request for 57 Wits End, 137638. What's that all about, Delia?
So this is an extension request for pond management.
Exactly.
This is the Nurse-Neck Hill Association, 57 Whitsett. They have been doing pond management at the Nurse-Neck Hill Pond since 2001. They typically do a biennial treatment of the pond for algal growth, and they submit annual reports. They're quite minimal in their applications and have submitted reports diligently. They're requesting a 7th 3-year extension to continue that pond management.
Anybody have any thoughts on that other than go forward? Any thoughts from the public? I guess we unmute again. Anybody out there from the public? Seeing none, we need a motion to extend. Go ahead, Lynn.
I move that we issue a 3-year extension for continued pond management, including annual reporting requirements for DEP file number 137638.
Do I see a second? Ed?
Second.
Or Nick?
Second.
Nick seconded it. All those in favor, Judy?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And I'm a yes as well. Moving right along, Myers Pond Management, 1371390.
Similar to the previous extension request, this was issued in 2017. However, it's a more recent application, mostly treatment for American lotus, and they have successfully managed to control some of this bank. Several more applications are required, so they're requesting a 3-year extension for that, and they also are submitting annual reports on that.
Anybody have an issue with that, commissioners? Public, let's unmute. Anybody have anything to say on that? Then let's get a motion. Lynn?
Yeah, I move that we approve a 3-year extension for continued pond management, including annual reporting requirements for DEP file number 1371390.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Nick? Thanks, Nick. All those in favor, Nick?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Judy?
Aye.
So that, and I'm a yes as well, so that's unanimous as well. Comcast, moving right along, Comcast, 1024 Main Street. They need to repair some underground conduit and felt it was an emergency. I don't know what brought that about, but I think people would probably want their Comcast right about now. What's that? Is there much to do about this, Delia?
No, so it's just replacing damaged underground cable for phone and internet. And they did, as you say, feel it was an emergency. The fire chief agreed. So I issued an emergency certification to allow that to occur, buildings 2 and 14.
Yep.
And they have put up straw wattles. We are in contact with them about the work, and it should be done relatively quickly.
Yeah, I think any thoughts from the commissioners? Public, I guess we have to unmute. Anybody from the public? Hearing and seeing none, we're looking for a motion. I assume it'll be a negative determination of applicability.
So motion to issue.
Yeah, see, I'm sorry, Delia, sorry, talking over you. I just, my question is if I am I making a motion for the RDA or to approve the emergency certification?
To ratify the emergency certification.
Okay, so I would make a motion that we ratify the emergency certification issued for RDA number 20-4.
Just an emergency certification. So initially they had submitted an RDA and
Correct.
Okay,
the concern, so that RDA has been withdrawn,
got it.
just the emergency cert.
Okay,
Yeah.
so amend my motion to ratify an emergency certification.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Nick. All those in favor, Judy,
Aye.
Lynn,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
and I say yes as well, so that's unanimous as well. Certificates of compliance, DEP file number 137-1049. Do we have a motion to issue a certificate of compliance, please?
Is there anything we need to know on this?
No, it's an old after the fact,
An old
move a fence and some additional plantings and invasives work. So they have complied.
and how about the next one?
Yeah, just do them both.
The next one is just that's a demo and rebuild of a pool house and some driveway relocation and
Yeah.
both of those are ready to go.
Okay, so I would make a motion that we issue certificates of compliance for DEP file number 1371049 and 1371422.
Do we have a second? Ed?
Second.
Second.
Nick seconded it. All those in favor, Judy,
Aye.
Lynn,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
and I vote as well in favor. So that's unanimous. Administrative approvals, 58 South Field Road, a tree removal. I think we saw a picture or something.
Yep.
Yep.
So that is a tree removal. They will replace that. It's a cherry that's not in great health and it's in the way of a to-be installed drainage line to a rain garden. The applicant will replace with the native paper birch.
Excellent.
They gonna put that in the same spot, or do we know where on the property that's being replanted?
We don't know for sure where that is, but we could, I believe that the homeowner is on the call here.
And do we care?
Well, we just want it to be within the at least the outer buffer zone.
Right.
Is somebody representing Lux here?
I see Dorothy Lux on the
I
screen.
do
Yes, but I never used this before. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
you did a great job. You're on.
Oh, yes, it's going to be a little bit further back in the property.
Okay, so closer towards the wetlands.
A little bit, but yeah, we're going to replace it with that natural tree, yes.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Does anybody, was your suggestion, Lynn, that staff review the location?
No, I just wanted to get in the record that
Okay.
the tree wasn't going to be, up in the front yard next to the road.
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah, okay. All right, then, moving right, do we need public comment on these things? Yeah, is there any public comment on these? Might as well open the mic up, we didn't do the last one. All right, hearing none, let's get a motion. Lynn, you want to shoot one?
Sure, I move that we issue an administrative approval for 58 Southfield Road to remove an unmanaged cherry and replace it with a native paper birch closer to the resource area.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Nick. All those in favor, Judy,
Aye.
Lynn,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Nick,
Aye.
and I'm in agreement as well. So thank you very much, Dorothy, for coming in.
Thank you very much.
90Y Plainfield Road, the bathhouse there on the town-owned land, they need to demolish it. It seems it's gotta go, so. Is anybody representing the town on this, or are you doing it, Gary?
I can speak for that. I can show you a very quick screen share.
Yeah, you have a plan, you might as well just throw it up.
Let's see. So this is the 100-foot buffer zone line is here.
Yeah.
And this is there are two bathhouses. They're right at the edge of the 100-foot, just outside. So the equipment will need to come in within the buffer zone.
Yeah.
And remove the bathhouses, and no dumpster on site, no trees. The contractor says he can maneuver around the trees. So it seemed like it was straightforward enough to proceed with this as an administrative approval.
Yeah. Anybody have any issues with that? Anybody in the public have thoughts? Seeing none, let's get a motion.
I move that we issue an administrative approval for Town of Concord, 90Y Plainfield Road for the bathhouse demolition.
Nick, second that?
Second.
All those in favor, Judy?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
And I say yes as well. That brings the agenda to a close. Does anybody have do you have anything on your mind, Delia?
Nope.
Seeing no one else, I guess a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
And do I have to roll call this? I guess I will. Nick?
Yes.
Ed?
Yeah.
Lynn?
Aye.
Judy?
Yes.
What do you mean, no? I vote yes. See you all later. Thank you very much. This was a great dry run. And hey, we'll see what happens on the 15th. Stay well, will you please?
Yeah, you too. Thanks, guys. Thank you,
Thank you.
Delia.
Aye.
Thanks.
Aye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.